Today I'm going to take a look into the commonality between a lot of the figures in our world who have grown up with very little wealth or in poverty and have gone on to create immense empires of businesses and organizations behind them. I'm talking about people like Warren Buffett, Oprah Winfrey, Robert Kiyosaki, Elon Musk, Larry Ellison, and Steve Jobs. I wanted to find commonalities between all these individuals who started with nothing or very little and have gone on to achieve more than their families could have ever imagined. Hopefully this will help you in your life as well to become more financially literate and learn to play the game of money. Hello everybody, welcome back to The Contrarian. For those of you who are new here, my name's Logan. I really like to talk about overall success in investing, as well as going against crowd thinking mentality in the investing world and in other parts of life. So if you like these kinds of topics, just consider subscribing to this channel if you like these kinds of topics. Anyway, also I want to make a disclaimer that none of this is to be taken as financial advice, as I am not a financial advisor. So to begin with, I wanted to take a look into these specific individuals for several reasons. Firstly, in starting off from the middle or lower class and not being raised in a wealthy family, they are more relatable than someone like a Donald Trump or somebody else who had the advantage of being raised in a wealthy family. And this is actually more for comparison of how these people, who grew up in lower classes differentiated themselves from their family and peers in order to break out from how they were raised in order to play the game of money, as well as these individuals who were raised in wealthy families. And right now our culture is doing an overall terrible job at giving children and young adults a financial education. In fact, it could be more correct that nowhere in school are children actually being taught what is one of the most crucial aspects they will deal with in life, which is how to manage money well. Don't get me wrong, math, science, English, public speaking, drama are all important, but having a financial education is arguably the most important thing you could be taught. After all, if you graduated without being able to do basic math or speak English or read, you would be called illiterate, or your school would be at fault. So why is managing your personal finance and future any different than this? I would like to pose a question to all of you watching this. Do any of you have memories from your educational system that actually taught you about how to effectively use money? My guess is that not very many of you would emphatically say yes to this question. So the first thing we can see from these individuals is that mindset and strategy is everything in the game of money. The very example of starting with nothing and making it to the top 1% or 0.1% of society shows that this game of money is mostly dependent on the mindset you take with you. Sure, if you start out with more wealth, it can be easier to get started initially. But these people I've just mentioned, Oprah Winfrey, Steve Jobs, they've all shown that this is very doable to start out with nothing and go to the top. They started with very little, if anything. So all these people running around right now, saying that the rich are evil and that they have to have taken advantage of others to get to the position where they are right now, they're clearly not correct. In my opinion, this is just an excuse for all these people to not be tougher on themselves and to see what is in their life that they can improve to help themselves. It is a lot more easy to blame someone else for your problems than yourself, after all. And this needed mindset and strategy also can go the other way. When was the last time you saw another professional football player or actor or boxer or some other person with millions of dollars to their name who was filing for bankruptcy? It's pretty often I see that. Do you know the average amount of time it takes a typical lottery winner to run through all the money they win? CNBC did a study and found that it typically takes only 3 to 5 years before these lottery winners typically are broke again. And this is after winning tens, sometimes hundreds of millions of dollars. So you might be very confused right now. Why would these people blow all this money so quickly after winning so much? Shouldn't they be set for life? And this answer is simple. They were given a lot of money, but their mindset was unchanged. Then they went on to spend frivolously and make bad decisions, and before they knew it, they were all broke again. So rule number 1 is that it's all in the mindset and strategy of the individual. You need to have a correct mindset. And this leads into the second characteristic we can take away in all of these individuals, and that is that they have had to find other resources outside of the educational system in order to gain this knowledge and this winning mindset. Many of these people did not even attend college. Larry Ellison and Steve Jobs did not attend college, and so could not have attained this knowledge there either. So a safe conclusion is that you will need to look to outside resources to learn what you need to know about handling money well. Sure, there are some good courses you could take at a local community college or in an undergraduate degree, but if you really want to gain a financial education, you actually don't need to spend much, if any, money. Just read books written by credible people related to this subject. In fact, when many of these top-level business leaders and entrepreneurs are asked what helped them in their early years, they often respond that books and other resources helped inspire and shape their mindset. Bill Ackman, Warren Buffett, Elon Musk, all of these individuals have had heroes and figures that they have looked up to earlier in their lives. For Buffett, it was his mentor Benjamin Graham. For Elon Musk, it was these visionaries and fathers of physics who had paved the way for all the modern engineering and physics principles we know today. So in this way, they are very similar to you probably right now. They knew very little at one point as well, but they looked up to these people and learned what they could from them. They learned everything about them. They read every single book about them. So you need to learn everything you can from the successful people that you look up to in order to take away many of these rules and apply them to your life. And you need to look for advice in credible people, not any of these people on the internet who present themselves as these elite financial gurus. I think you know who I'm talking about, Tai Lopez, Dan Lok. Just run away from these guys. Basically, if they make a pitch to you in an advertisement in front of a private jet and a Lamborghini, you need to run the other way. They are obviously in this for their own gain, and in most cases actually have done nothing to gain these items, but are using rented items, and they don't actually own these. So, yeah, don't fall for these guys. That's just a bad way to start out. I'll just list some of the books that have been very helpful for me and that are very generic and can probably be of help to you. First one, very helpful book, is Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad. This book just really summarizes the big differences between the rich and the poor. Robert Kiyosaki himself grew up in a very low class or poor family, so he knows a lot about having a correct mindset and building a correct mindset in one's mind and how crucial that is for success. So, bottom line, I really recommend this book above pretty much every other book. Number 2 is The New Buffettology, and this is written by David Clark and Mary Buffett, but this book is just really helpful for understanding value investing as a whole, and just the mindset that Warren Buffett and other value investors take with them to make these really good long-term investments that they've made. And number 3, this is not an investing related book. This is more of a life and business and goal related book. It's a great book though. It's called Your Next 5 Moves, and it's by Patrick Bet-David. This book just really explains how crucial it is to have a game plan in your life, and it's just a very helpful book as well. So these are a great place to start, as they have been very helpful for me, and I'm very confident that they can be helpful for you. Now let's move on to the third thing in common with these amazing people that we can think of. The third thing in common with all these entrepreneurs and business people is the process that they've gone through to build all that they have. And this can all be boiled down to a very simple process of 3 steps. Step 1, they've identified common problems for people. Step 2, they have found a scalable solution for this problem, or a better solution than existing solutions. And step 3, they have scaled this to the market, either regionally or worldwide. So if you think about all the people I just mentioned, they can all fit into this category. All of these people have gone through this boiled down process. Steve Jobs, Oprah Winfrey, Elon Musk, Larry Ellison. All the essential things of this process is asking yourself and others good questions. What needs to be improved upon? What are people saying they wish existed right now? What is a common problem to humanity? These problems can be very simple or they can be very complex. It could be as simple as creating a more personal TV network like what Oprah Winfrey did, and that was very successful. Or it could be as complex as wanting to make a fully reusable rocket like what Elon Musk has done with SpaceX. That's obviously a much more complex question. And then the fourth and probably most defining factor all these individuals have in common is working as hard as they possibly can to accomplish their plans. In fact, it would be somewhat unusual or confusing if you were to find a person who built a large business with little work and hardship. You're going to have to work long days and long weeks. It will be tiring on you at times. However, these days are really what differentiate these people from others. Any of these fake gurus out there who are selling you on some easy way to wealth are lying. Believe me, if Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk could have built their wealth with drop shipping or with day trading, they probably would have, but in reality there is no easy way to wealth. These are not effective ways. The only way is really the hard way, which is what all of these people have done. So the fourth characteristic is that they work as hard as they possibly can to accomplish what their game plan is. So you're probably wondering how this could apply to where you are right now. And the short answer to this is that it's up to you. But all of these principles I have just discussed are very powerful tools, and they can be used to create great businesses. If they are able to create great businesses like these, they can definitely be scaled down to work with your different goals that may be smaller in scale. Wherever you are and whatever situations you might be in, you can apply these principles to your life that these individuals have. Number one, they've built a correct mindset and financial education for themselves. Number two, they have learned from the successes and mistakes of others before them. Number three, they've gone through this simple 3-step process and formulated a plan for themselves. And number four, they've executed their game plan as hard and as quickly and as effectively as they possibly can. So whichever phase you might be in right now, this would be a good place to start in my opinion. Think about where you currently are and where you would like to be. Think about your current strengths and skills, and also your current weaknesses and areas for improvement. Then form a doable process you can take to get to this place you would like to be. It needs to be within your reach, with steps that are doable. But also the most important thing is sticking to this plan and executing it. It will obviously be useless if you actually don't do anything. Maybe the goal is more financial stability, maybe it's starting a business, maybe it's expanding your business. Wherever you are and whatever your goal may be, these principles can be applied. Ask yourself if you had the correct mindset, if there are other people in your life who can learn from and then form this into a game plan for yourself. You need to have a game plan. You need to focus on accomplishing the next step in your game plan. Anyway, I hope these sorts of videos are helpful for all of you out there. The truth is that most people don't end up doing these simple steps in their lives. So if you just do these few steps, it will automatically put you in the top 1% of society. Most people don't focus on self-improvement and executing on their game plans. So just following these principles will differentiate you from most people, and going after your goals aggressively will help you to rapidly grow your wealth for the long term. You will definitely have ups and downs, but you will definitely end up better than you started. So yeah, if you like these kinds of content, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. I'd like to talk about these kinds of topics as well as going against commonly perceived narratives that I think are not true. And if you like these kinds of topics, just make sure to hit the subscribe and like button down below, and I hope to see you again.